phone out, but other times, or at least some of you have your phones out. But for the rest of the day, we will ask you not to be check email or text or whatever. Keep your phones up and pay attention to what's going on. We're going to have a lot of different kind of activities. We're moving around a lot at times, things like that. So first of all, welcome to the orientation. Specifically, it was set up for orange, green, math. We do have some other students from our other schools here. We have so many ninth graders coming in. We have had two different orientation sessions. One was last week down at Best Western, where you guys spent a lot of time with students. Best Western Design College, and we're having this one. So really appreciate you guys being here, and glad that you are all in Blue Ridge Virtual Governors. So I want to do a couple things. First is introductions, and I want to introduce you to some of our staff members and some of your teachers you'll have next year. Before we do that, we'd like to have all of you introduce yourselves. But because we don't have all day, we're going to do it simultaneously. So when I count to three, just say your first name on the list. 1, 2, 3. Very good. I got Cheyenne, okay? So, all right, very good, and nice to meet you all. So, several people that you're going to see in Blue Ridge. So, as I mentioned, my role, I'm the director, which again is a lot like being the principal, but because of the way this school is set up, you won't see me every day, obviously. But I will be in your classrooms, you want to field trips, and a lot of the activities that you do. Also, for Blue Ridge, the central Blue Ridge staff, we have Mrs. Alvin, who is our technology resource specialist. She will be somebody that you will rely on a lot for some of the projects and things that you do. Obviously, she's the one who emailed every night with your projects to say, how do I upload this kind of finish my presentation back. So, get to know Mrs. Alvin, be nice because she will help you out when you need the most. Mr. Reynolds, in the back there, the reason any of you come in, Mr. Reynolds is our online computer science teacher and also our online learning coordinator. As a virtual school, we do a lot of online learning stuff. So he is somebody that will help quite a bit. Over the back, also, Ms. Bunch is our administrative person, which means that she does one of the most important functions in Blue Ridge. She gets lunch for you. Very nice. So you will eat a lot of lunch with those information. She also kind of manages a lot of information and things like that. So also your teachers, we have Mr. Hutchison from Weaver Road. Weaver Road, you might want to apply. Madisonians, I'm here. Ms. Johnson. First guy you have Ms. Carlton, and she is not here. I think she may still be out there. You can go ahead and clap her. So a little about what's going to happen today. As I mentioned, we're going to I did some introductions already. We're going to do a bunch of different stuff. Some of it is going to be just kind of get your head in what it means to be a student in Blue Ridge Virtual Government. Obviously, this is kind of a different thing. You guys have kind of extended yourself into this opportunity. This is something that all districts have as an opportunity. It is kind of above and beyond. It's different than what your regular school program offers, and that's why we exist. The state of Virginia created governor schools. Students and districts can have some opportunities if they want to stretch themselves academically. So that's what you're going to have. Well, what does that really look like? A lot of people think, well, that's work. I just got to do a lot more work, and that's not really what we do. We do different kinds of stuff. That's the real purpose of Blue Ridge, is to bring some different kinds of educational opportunities to you, different ways of learning, using some different tools, some of which you may have seen in other places, but we really dedicate ourselves to that quite a bit. So one of the things that we're going to do here is we're going to talk about a couple of things. We want you talking about this. So we want you to kind of get your head in this idea of Blue Ridge Virtual Government School as a school, because we are not a traditional school, but we are a school. We don't have a football team, right? We don't have a building that you go to every day. So what is it that makes us a school? So we're going to be talking about a couple things. So early on, what I need you to do, I need you to get into groups of like 2 or 3 people just to have conversations. Chairs kind of set up in groups of 3. One of the people in your group needs to have a cell phone with texting capability. And you need to have that out. And what you need to do is text to this number is the number you need to text to, and you need to text this message to this number. Okay? So get in your group, get the person with the cell phone, and go ahead and do that and text and get that set up. Everybody good? Give me a thumbs up when you've got that done. Okay, got thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay. Just one per group, yeah, just need one. Yeah, one per group. Okay. MARCCARRAWBBY 554. And you should have gotten a message back. You should get a response back that you've joined my session. This is something called All Every. Okay, so here's what I need you to do. Before you enter anything else on your phone, you need to talk a little bit. And the question is this. So I mentioned we're a school. We don't have a lot of things that a traditional school has. How do you define a school without using the word place? So think about this and then talk about it as your group. Just talk about it for the moment. You don't need to do anything else. Don't do anything. You're probably just talk about it. Come up with a brief definition. What's a school when you can't use the word place?
Somewhere where people are in a community. It's a location, an area of learning.
Okay, as soon as you have come up with a definition, go ahead, whoever's got the phone in your group, go ahead and text that definition in that text. What is a school without using the word? Learning environment, an opportunity, a location environment, okay? Keep going, keep going. I know there's more groups out there. Organization. Where people, you kind of left the word place out of where people gather to learn, but it works. Where. Environment, group of students, community, organization, a building or location, the exact location of learning. Very precise. So here's something you can do with this, which I kind of like to do is, you can take the responses and you create a word cloud where the words that are used the most are the ones that show up the biggest. So out of the answers, if you you guys put in, a lot of things kind of about. Obviously, a school really is about learning. Okay? And it does not have to have a place. So some people said like an exact place or anywhere. You can learn anywhere, and a school can be anywhere. It can be under a tree in South Africa. It can be in a building. It can be in a, it can move around. And that's a lot of what we do. So some things that you guys put together. Students are pretty strongly emphasizing this, which I like, because that's a lot of what we do. You guys, one of the things about this program is you guys will produce a lot of your own learning. One of the things that we don't do in this program as much is we don't stand up and tell you knowledge and then ask you to spit that knowledge back. We ask you to find your own knowledge. We ask you to make decisions about the information that you're getting. We ask you to figure out, one of the first projects that you'll do for us, one of the first big projects that you will do for us, you're going to have to determine what were the most important technologies from a particular civilization that you're studying. I'll tell you what the most important technologies are, because it's more important for you guys to figure that information out than it is for us to tell you. So a lot of what we're going to do is going to be centered around you and your learning. Teachers, obviously a big part of that. One of the things about this program is that your teachers, Ms. Trice, Ms. Johnston, Ms. Carlton, your other teachers that you will have, they will teach you in a regular classroom setting, but they also act as kind of your coaches and guides on this journey, because you'll be doing some things that will be different in the way that you learn. There were a couple of words that also came up. I like community. One of the purposes and one of the reasons that the state of Virginia established government schools is to create communities of learners. And by that, it means you're not always, if you're from Lebanon Road, a lot of times you're going to be working with people from Madison or Orange or other schools on some of the projects and things that we do. And we'll talk a little bit about what these projects look like as we get into the day. But it's about building a community of learners, and that community is really a critical part. It's interesting. We had that at the end of last year as our seniors were finishing up their last big event. It's called the Senior Expo. We had students there from different schools finding out they were going to the same college and making arrangements to be roommates at the college together. Little things like that happen as part of creating this community. So other things, knowledge, practice, experiences. One of the things we will do is introduce you to lots of different kinds of experiences, learning experiences in different places and things like that. And environment, we're going to create an environment where learning is going to be a little bit different. So some good answers there, very good answers. We can come back to this. We'll get a couple more questions we want you to consider. The next question, I want you to think about this. First of all, I'm just going to do this by show of hands. How many people joined Blue Ridge because your mother made you do it? Nobody? Okay, at least one. Yep, I'm going to admit it right here. Okay, how many of you joined Blue Ridge because it looks good on a college application? Okay. A lot of people, and a lot of people talk to me about that. A lot of people say that's why I did that. And we'll talk about the role of Blue Ridge with college. The truth of the matter is, our students do very well for college placement. And we have students that ended up in Harvard and Yale and Duke and U.S. Naval Academy and lots of different colleges, high-level colleges, colleges in the state of Virginia, colleges outside the state of Virginia, lots of full scholarships, things like that, commercial scholarships. Our students do very well for college placement. Here's the reality about that. You'll hear this from me a lot over the years. Going to college, getting into college does not mean nearly as much as being ready for college when you get there. College is more about what you do when you're there than where you go. So, by that, that's a big soapbox again. You'll hear that from me. But I want to kind of get away from that for a second. Aside from my mother made me do it, and aside from because it looks good on a college application, what are the reasons that you joined BRVGS? So talk about that for just a minute here. What are the reasons that you joined Blue Ridge? Miss Meadows, I heard that one. meet new people, that challenge, prepare me for college. Preparing for college. To learn. There we go.
Yeah.
It's all about learning. Be with other students that love to learn, prepare yourself for college and careers. Expand the horizons of our educational outcomes. A lot of expansion going on there. People expand my learning, do more new, more meet people, experience life skills, right? Learning opportunities and experiences to meet new people. Wow. Let's see what this looks like in word cloud here. Well, apparently college is high on your list as far as reasons to be in Blue Ridge Virtual Government School. Okay, guys? And again, it's a good thing. And I think a lot of the responses that I saw about college were the right frame of mind in terms of being prepared. Because there's a lot that goes on, in terms of your preparation. As you guys head into high school, you're going to be kind of, it looks like you're going to be there forever, but really you're not. You're just, it's going to go a lot quicker than you think. And part of it is you need to do as much as you can to be prepared for college. And that's something that we will help you do. And that is something that we want to support you in. And our students who graduate, and we see a lot of our graduates and hear from them, talk a lot about some of the specific experiences that they have in Blue Ridge that help them prepare for that. For those of you from Weaver Row, I'm thinking of Courtney Siglo, who graduated a couple years ago. She's architectural engineering or architecture, I can't remember, at UVA. But one of the hardest schools in the state to get into and to stay in. We saw her last year and talked about the group projects that she has to do in that program and how the preparation that she had for group projects in Blue Ridge helped her be ready for that experience in college. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Actually, we're going to talk a lot about that at different points, but we'll talk a little bit about the skills for success in college. Because here's the interesting thing. We work a lot with colleges. It's an interesting thing. First of all, any guesses as to what percentage of students finish four-year colleges in 4 years? 15. It's a low ball. But any other guesses? Yes. 65. 30. You're all over that. Justin. 8%. Oh. 39% finish college in 4 years. A four-year college in 4 years. How many finished a four-year college within 6 years? Close. But a little bit of an overestimate. It's 59%. So when you talk to people about why didn't you successfully finish college, you never hear. And if I talk to college professors, which I do a lot, and say, what do you need to see out of students? I never hear, oh, they weren't smart enough, or our students need to be smart. Everybody that goes is smart. There's a lot of things that they need aside from being smart to be successful in college. So that's your third question that I'm going to ask you, and you need to talk about this with your group. Third question is, what kind of skills or character traits do you think somebody needs to have to be successful in college? So what are the top three that you guys can come up with as a group? Take a couple minutes to come up with your top three skills and character traits. this one on. So the three most important skills or character traits that you need for success in the world beyond high school, college, and the world beyond high school. So, okay. Sorry, I got unlocked. Okay, should be open now. There we go. Time management, work ethic, initiative. Teamwork, collaboration, motivation, communication. I love it. Ethic. Integrity. Again. Prioritizing. Teachable. All right, let's see what this is. Willing to work for your goals. So look what the big kahuna is here. Work. Work. So here's the thing about work and the skill of work ethic, which is what a lot of people talk about. I mentioned to you, I mean, you may have heard, oh, I don't know about this bluebird thing, it's a lot of work. Work can be like you have to dig a longer, deeper ditch. You know, that's like some way some people think about work. But work in the way that you're going to encounter it here, and the work that's going to help you prepare for college is coming up against problems that you have to solve. It's a little bit different. So anybody who's a gamer does that on a regular basis. You know, everybody does it in life when we go over it up. And that's a lot of what we're going to kind of talk through. But part of it is, and this is where the work ethic part comes in, is when you come up against that problem, and it's right there, and you're going, okay, I don't know how to do this. It's going to happen to you. It needs to happen to you. Because if it doesn't happen to you in high school, it's going to happen to you in college, and you won't have any experience on how to do this. Part of the idea about work ethic, it also came up with persistence, is how do I work my way through or over or under or around that problem? Who do I need to help me out? Who do I ask for help? How can I do this in a way that's going to be, people put ethic, how can I do that in a way that's going to be ethical? How can I get help without plagiarizing or cheating? So work is a huge one. Ethics, big, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Time management came up quite a bit. So here's your experience so far, I would guess, for most of you guys. You live in an SOL world, in SOL schools, where you know, where people come up basically every day and say, okay, tomorrow you have to do this, and by Friday you have to have this started, right? Up on the board, right there. When you get to college, they hand you basically a piece of paper or something online at the beginning of the semester and say, here's what your semester looks like. And they don't get there every week to tell you what you do. You have a paper due in October. You have a midterm in November. You have another paper at the beginning of December. You have a final at the end of December. And when you walk into the class and say, I didn't know we had a test today, and say, well, we get to do back in September on the first day of class. They will expect you to manage your time. So one of the things we do in this program, and I mentioned projects, one of the things we do is a lot of projects, and we do big projects. When I say big, not so much that there's huge work, but they're spaced out over a long period of time. So that you can work on time management skills. How do you use the stuff for time management? So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about today. A lot of good responses here on all three of these questions. A couple of things also that I'll point out. When we talk to our students who have graduated from this program, a couple of things really come up. The time management piece is one of them. One that comes up a lot, shows up on here, and that is collaboration, the ability to work well with others. Most of the projects that you have in this program will be team-based projects, and you have to work with others. Some people are more comfortable with that than others. We will not just put you out there and say, here's your team, here's your project, good luck, let us know how it went. We're going to give you some tools to work on those things. How do you make decisions as a team? How do you communicate? What do you do if somebody, and it occasionally happens, if somebody is a slacker? How do you deal with that as a group? What's going to happen? You know, how is that going to be part of the process? So that's a huge piece. The other one especially in a group setting. So somebody's there to catch you if you pass out, which is good. But by the time you're a senior, and you'll see this, many of you will have a chance to see this year. Our seniors, and you may know this, our seniors they do a project, it's called their internship research and community service project, where they can take any topics that they're interested in, any topic at all. Arts, medicine, architecture, sciences, body piercing, any topic, find somebody who's an expert, spend some time with, and learn about that topic, do some research about it, and do community service. And at the end of that, they stand up, like I'm doing here, and present that information formally to an audience and to judges. You will be able to do that, and you'll be able to do it very well as a senior. When you go off to college, you will find that one, a lot of your peers will never, your college, you've had 8 years, have never really done a serious presentation like that. And two, you'll find that you will be asked to do a lot of kind of presentations in college. So the practice will have you very well prepared for that. So that's a little bit about, just kind of a little bit of background. You guys brought some good information on this. I want to give you kind of one last thing to think about, because this is kind of what this program is about too. I mentioned the senior project, where you take an area that you're interested in and you really get to explore it. We've had people that have been able to be in an operating room while students doing brainstorming. We've had people that have participated hands-on, not hands-on brain surgery, but they participated hands-on things like architecture projects, or we've actually had people that design electronic circuitry for a project at UVA. We've had lots of different things like that. So part of it is, and part of what we will try to help you do in this program, is to think about, first of all, what are you interested in, what are you good at, what are the things that you might be, what you might be heading to as you continue your academic career. So a couple of things, this kind of informs a little bit about what we do in this project, in this program here.
Okay, here are 2 questions that can change your career, your business, maybe even your life. The first comes from Claire Booth Luce, one of the first women to serve in the U.S. Congress. One day in the early 1960s, she went to visit President Kennedy, and she told him this: "A great man is a sentence." Abraham Lincoln's sentence was, he preserved the Union and freed the slaves. Franklin Roosevelt's sentence was, he lifted us out of a Great Depression and helped us win a World War. Luce worried that Kennedy was trying to do too many things, and that his sentence risked becoming a muddled paragraph. If you really want to find your true motivation, ask yourself that question: what's my sentence? You don't have to be president of anything for this to help. Maybe your sentence is, she invented a device that made people's lives easier. Maybe it's, he taught 2 generations of kids how to read. Think about your sentence, then use it to navigate your life. But to make your sentence really come alive and to create motivation that lasts, you need a second question. So each night, before you go to sleep, ask yourself, was I better today than yesterday? Keep asking that question, because that's how we really improve. Day by day, step by step, over and over, for a very long time. It's tough, but it's the only way. Combine these 2 questions and motivation at work, in business, and the rest of your life will take care of itself. Try the surprising truth about what motivates us.
So that's a lot of what we are hoping to do with you in this program. Is first of all, help you find your sentence. What is it that you will be? And that doesn't mean that we expect you to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life, or but what is it you're interested in? What do you need to do? Those kinds of things. We give you lots of opportunities to explore those things, and then we're going to give you opportunities to get better every day, every year. And I mentioned things like public presentation. We do not expect the same thing from with 9th grade. We're just starting out with that now he's in his fourth year living in, I guess about 8 years ago, he's in his fourth year living in Shanghai, China. He's working for a startup doing software design. And the way that he got into the software design was he took the BRVGS computer science class from Mr. Reynolds. He went to college, took Chinese language, took economics. He ended up with an opportunity to go to Shanghai. And while he was there, he started working for a company, and they had an opening for somebody to do some coding. And he had done this one computer science class in BRVGS. He was able to take that knowledge into that. He did an engineering course with us. He was able to take that knowledge and use it in his company. Now he's working for the fourth company because his companies gets bought and sold. But he works with, it's a Chinese company doing cooking stuff online, and he's actually doing a lot of the software design of this. And he loves it. He gets to live in China, gets to travel around, gets to see a very different part of the world. We got Sam Young, who graduated from Madison. Sam is in his fourth year at UVA, working as a undergraduate assistant in a lab. He did neuroscience stuff. He actually did that as a senior in the BRVGS program, where he got interested in it when he was in biology, got into it as a senior project, and now he's in at UVA doing research. He's doing presentations to scientists, and he's got like a totally wide open path to go into this field, which he loves. We got Jamie Ursitz in Orange. So you guys may know Ms. Ursitz, or you will have her as our teacher at Orange County High School. She was a BRVGS virtual governor school student who was really interested in arts. And we're a science and technology program primarily, but we have a lot of room for people to explore that side of their interest. So she actually did her senior project as an art project. She went to college, got her art degree, and came back to us teaching art. And I mentioned we just got back. We had this as a group of students, mostly from Orange, Madison. We had some Nelson students as well that went to China for a little over a week in June. So these are kind of some of the things that we have opportunities that we want to create for you guys. So how do we do this? What does it look like when you are in BRVGS? Because again, you're going into this world. You're going to be in two different schools. You're going to have your regular program at Williams Monroe or Madison or Orange or Savannah or wherever you happen to be from. You're going to have your regular courses you take, and you're going to have your BRVGS classes. So what is it that we do? So a couple of things. A lot of people mention challenging. When you say, why did you join BRVGS? A lot of people say challenges. We will give you challenges. And challenges can be a good thing, and challenges can be frustrating. One of the things that we will guarantee you is that we will give you the support to help you overcome those challenges as well. We're going to give you some difficult stuff. It's sort of like, how many of you guys do a sport, just out of curiosity? How many of you guys play a musical instrument? Okay. You do either one of those two things, you've experienced challenges. You need to, you always have to push yourself a little bit harder so that you can grow in those areas so you get better. So that's the kind of challenges that we'll present you with. A lot of people mention being a part of a community as part of the reason for joining BRVGS. You will definitely be part of a community. You will work with students from 6 other counties and on a regular basis. One of the things that we will do regularly is we will get together a lot of times for our projects. Everybody will come together, you'll meet your teams. If it's a team-based project, we'll go through the project parameters, spend the day, we'll eat pizza, lots of pizza. We'll do that. But so it's fun too. That's the other part of it. We try to have a good time with this stuff as well. As I mentioned, you'll have fun. We have trips. We got Chesapeake Bay Foundation trip. We went to DC. CNI Max maybe a couple of years ago. We do a lot of stuff like that. We're looking for opportunities for you guys to have enjoyable experiences as part of your learning. We mentioned the skills, and you guys are really good about identifying these skills for success. We'll hear a lot about very specific skills, time management, organization, the teamwork skills, the presentation skills, things like that. Also, technology skills. That's something we're going to get into quite a bit. One of the things that you will do a lot of is projects, and the projects, as I mentioned, usually are team-based, but they usually start with an individual component. So you'll have a role. You'll have to become an expert on a particular technology from a civilization. And then you and your other team members who have that civilization come together, you're going to build a website that represents those technologies. You have to work together so the website looks good, and it's artistically designed, and all of those things are part of that. So a lot of opportunities to work on your own and work as a team. That can be a frustrating process too. Very successful on their own. So one of the things we do, we work a lot with you about how to make that the most successful process possible. Lots of different kinds of activities. This year you will go on field trips. DC, for sure will be on the line. We may have some other possibilities to come up with as far as field trips. We try to get to UVA several times in your experience in the program. We work with a lot of partnership with them. But we have other possibilities, depending on what's out there in a given year. We may come up with some other possibilities for you as well. Lots of different kinds of activities. One of the things that's happening, and you guys are going to get the benefit of this, maybe, just out of curiosity, how many of y'all have older brothers or sisters that have been in the program? Okay, so you've heard a little bit about this. Well, there are some changes that have come to the program. One of which is we've been able to expand some of the classes that we offer. So we bring in, Mr. Reynolds is our online coordinator. We bring in online classes right now from UVA, from Radford. We have some online advanced placement courses as well, and some computer programming. There's a lot more opportunities for different kinds of courses than what you might be interested in. And we plan to continue to expand those opportunities. So you'll get those opportunities as well as the regular classes like the history and the biology. Teamwork, we've talked a lot about that. It's a huge part of what we do. And a lot of times, we will give you these, we'll give you the skills, the resources, the goals, and kind of turn you loose and then help you out with whatever guidance you need as a team. So, a few things. And you're going to hear more about this when we come together for our first big field trip in the fall. But we have, as a school, we have our own set of expectations about what we do. Things like turning work in on time. Things about doing your work, being a participant when you are a part of a team. And we're going to make sure that those expectations carry through. One of the big expectations we have for you is that you will be academic and professional. And by that we mean in your communications. So when you communicate with somebody, we'll give you some guidelines on this. So when you communicate with somebody by email. So sometimes I'll get an email that looks like, hey, so I was thinking, I'm like, who's this addressed to? I have no idea what they're talking about. When you're doing an academic or professional email, how do you address that email? You should have a signature to that email, or something that tells you who sent it and what the subject is. When we go, and you'll see this when we do our presentation, we expect you to dress professionally for those presentations. We'll give you guidelines on what that looks like. So those are some of the expectations and things that we have because we find that those are some of the things that help us be really prepared for the world after high school. One of the big ones, ethics came up in the skill base, which I was really happy to see a lot of people mention. Ethics and doing things ethically. That is a huge, huge piece of what we expect. And so you'll hear about this. We'll go into the honor and the depth. One of the things, you guys, I think all of you are here, you have an interest in doing well academically, I think. And so a lot of you guys are particularly concerned about grades. Sometimes when you're concerned about grades, it puts you in a situation where you're tempted to do things to support your grades that maybe are unethical. And what we want to do is help you both to understand what the implications of that are, so that you don't do that. Because when you finish this program, there's nothing more important that I can tell you, that I can tell somebody, college that you want to go to, or something you want to work with. There's nothing more important I can say than they are really ethically strong. They're a good person. They do the right thing. We want to be able to say that for every one of our graduates. I read a lot of college recommendations, and that's always a part of what I want to be able to emphasize when I do that. Efforts. I mean, a lot of people put that as a skill base, that word effort. Put that effort in. Being able to see that. You may not always get it right. That's okay. If we see you've made the effort to there, we're going to count that effort. We're going to look at that and say, okay, we understand that they really work in that needs to be done. Communication. This is another huge one. It showed up a little bit on the skill base, but this is something where not only communication with, like, say, team members, communication with teachers, clarify if you don't understand something, communication with Ms. Allen, with myself. One of the things that you will have, is something we'll talk about in a couple minutes, our technology, you've got instant access to all of us through our rich email and chat tools and things like that. And we do a lot of that. I mean, I get, over the summertime, I have probably gotten 200 emails from students. It might be seniors talking about their senior projects, or somebody wanting to make choices about a class for next year, or somebody asking what field trips are available, or things like that. Just all kinds of things. But being able to communicate using those tools is really important. And so I'm going to actually turn over to Ms. Allen for a little bit and technology.
Okay, by a show of hands, how many of you have a personal email account? All right, and how many of you have a Google Apps account already for your school? Excellent. So you're going to have one more email account through Blue Ridge, which we do expect you to use for all your Blue Ridge work. A couple things to know about our account. You need to treat it like a work account. If people send inappropriate email through their job email account, what happens to them? They get fired. So this is a good way to practice. Almost every single one of you has a personal email account. Use that for your personal stuff. Do not use your Blue Ridge account to plan a party, to talk about other people, to plan to skip school. Don't use it for that. I say this because I say this every year to every grade, and we invariably have someone that uses their account inappropriately. You guys don't own this email account. We own it and are loaning it to you for 4 years. So knowing that, I just want you to know that we filter every email, every chat, everything you post into it. And sometimes if I get a little red flag from the computer filter, I go into your account and personally read everything. So when you're typing in a chat, when you're typing in an email, when you're typing in a doc, think to yourself, would this accountant be okay with me writing this? And you might have a couple slip-ups, and I will be sure to tell you about them, and we'll have a talk. But please, right now, make sure to remember that your Blue Ridge email is not for anything kind of personal. You can use it for school, you can use it for other classes, you can use it for like extracurriculars, whether it's sports or a project you're doing or some club you're in. But make sure that it's kind of academic and professional in nature. I'll be coming into all of your classes at the beginning of the year, going a little bit more in depth on that, but I want to just give you guys a heads up. In your folder, the very first sheet is your technology info. You'll see at the top, it'll have your Blue Ridge email address and your password. And I know you're looking at that password and being like, that is a horrible password. Give it a couple weeks, you'll have it memorized for the rest of your life. We do ask you not to change it. And if I get a notification if a password is changed, and if I realize you did that, then I immediately change it back. The reason we keep those passwords is because if you're working on a group project and you're sick one day at home, and a piece of that project that your group really needs is tied to your account, they need to have access to it. So your teachers will always have your passwords, Mr. Caraway and I will always have your passwords, and that way it's easier for everybody to hop in and be able to help with your account, especially because you guys are in 7 different counties, and I can't be in every county at once. So a lot of times if you're having an issue, it's easier for me to log in and see exactly the way you see stuff. Also on there, that sheet, it just kind of gives you some guidelines on what you can and can't do with this account, and then also how to get help. I am a resource just as much for you guys as I am for the teachers. So if you're working on a project, even if it's for a different class, and you can't figure out, you want to make a movie, or you're trying to do something and you can't quite figure it out, shoot me an email or a chat. I'm always happy to help you, even if it's late at night, you're going to have projects that are due. Definitely, I would so much rather you contact me early and often, or you send me an email and you go, Miss Allen, I cannot figure out how to do this, and then 2 minutes later, send a follow-up, go, I figured it out, I'm good. I'd rather get both of those emails from you than have you sit there for 3 hours screaming at your computer. So do not be worried about contacting me. Even if it's a silly question or a small question, shoot them out. I'd rather you guys contact me early and often. If you need a computer at home, or you don't have a computer at home, or you're going on a trip, we have loaners that people can check out. In every single Blue Ridge classroom, we have a cart that stays in that teacher's classroom that has enough computers for everybody in the class. So every day that you're in a Blue Ridge class, there's a computer available if you need it. But if you need one for after school or at home, there's a process which I'll show you on your website where you can check a laptop out. We do have to have your parents sign off that they know you have it, but we have information to log in is on your sheet as well, but I just want to give you guys a quick tour. If you see up here in this upper corner where it has the Blue Ridge logo and it says users, if you click on that, our website slides down, and there's a couple different links that you guys might use. For the 9th grade, the most important ones are going to be Google Apps. That's an easy way to be able to click right there to log into your Google Apps, but it's the same as if you went to like the Gmail page and logged in there. Either one will work. Google Classroom, most of your teachers will have a Google Classroom. That's an easy, quick way to log in if you can't remember how to get to Google Classroom. And then the other one that's important for you guys to know about is Turnitin. All right, Turnitin sounds super scary. When you write a paper for Blue Ridge, you will submit it to Turnitin before you submit it to your teacher. And what Turnitin does is it compares your paper to every other student paper all around the world that's ever been submitted to it, all major journals and periodicals, and most of the internet. And then it kicks back a report to you and says, it's called an originality report, it says how much of your paper it thinks might be plagiarized. I know, it sounds horrible. Colleges use systems like this to catch you cheating and kick you out. We use it as a way for you guys to fine-tune your writing skills. You will have multiple chances to submit your paper to it. So you submit your paper, it kicks out the report, and your teacher gets a copy. It says, this paragraph we think comes from these internet sources. And so then you get to go back and rework your paper and say, I didn't cite it correctly. I need to rephrase this better in my own words. You'll rework your paper and submit it again. And you can keep submitting it as many times as you want until it gets kind of in our threshold. Now, we don't expect your paper to be 100% original, because you're writing on topics generally that our students have been writing on for quite a long time. So some of your phrasing will be the same. Generally, the threshold is about 20%. That 80% of your paper needs to be original and 20% can be kind of quotes and things from other sources. It's actually a very useful tool, and we have a lot of students that ask to be able to use it for their other classes. They want to be able to submit, their English papers or from another class, just so they can make sure that they cited things correctly and reworded them. But like I said, we don't use this as a tool to catch you cheating. We use it as a tool to make sure that you understand how to write a research paper correctly and how to be prepared when you go to college for this kind of thing, so it's not as scary. Some other things on the Blue Ridge website, under About BRVGS, you can always find information about us, including our handbook, which you will get, I believe, the first week of school, that you and your parents have to sign off on. Under Academics, this is where you'll always find whatever your current project is for that semester. Each semester you'll do a big project, and under Current Projects, it will give you all the information on here. I mean, this is who your group is, what your topic is, every due date, what to do when, how to do everything. So when you start working in these projects, you're probably really used to being like, oh my gosh, I have a quick question, and asking your teacher. Your teachers, 99% of the time, are going to say, what does the project site say? So you want to get really familiar with using our website to find that kind of information. The admissions, you guys don't have to worry about, because you've already done that. The last one that's really important is the resources tab. This is where our laptop loan page is, and it talks you through what you need to do to be able to check out a laptop through Blue Ridge. The tech help desk, if you have trouble with your computer at school or an account for Blue Ridge, or even your computer at home, getting something to work, you can submit a tech request through that link, and I will help you. I am happy to help you with your home computer. If you can't get something to work, or you can't log in, or something's not working, I'll help you and kind of talk you through trying to figure out where the breakdown is. Whether you need, if your computer's out of date, you need to check out a loaner, or if you just need to update your browser, or kind of what's going on with your account. The Google Tools Help will give you help for all your resources. One other thing that we have is, it's not showing up on the computer. It's called Synergize, which Google actually just bought it. But in any of your Google tools, you guys will actually have a little like 3-colored wheel with a question mark in the middle of it. And that will give you very cool how-tos to do every tool in Google for us. And it will actually be a great resource. I'll be going over a lot of this in more detail in your classrooms once school starts. But definitely hop into your account. You know, in the next 2 or 3 days, log into your Blue Ridge account, make sure you can get in and everything works, and even shoot your teacher an email just to say, hey, I'm in, everything works. A couple of other things, Google Scholar Search. Has anyone ever used Scholar Search before? Okay. Google Scholar Search is a search engine just like Google, except the results you get are all peer-reviewed journal articles, so things you can actually cite in an academic paper. So instead of like, if I just like made up a world history site, and I was a science teacher, I don't know anything about world history, so don't trust me on history content knowledge. You would not want to cite my website as an expert in world history. But if you found a resource under Google Scholar, you can totally cite that in a paper. It's all peer-reviewed. Same thing with Google Book Search. It searches just books. And then the last one that's going to be the most important for you is the Owl Writing Lab. This is from Purdue University, and it will talk you through how to do everything with writing a paper. How to do all the different types of citations, how to create a thesis statement, how to organize your paper, how to cite things. It even goes into if you have writer's block, what you can do to overcome it. It's an awesome resource, and I'm sure your teachers will refer you to it. Lastly, on the Contact BRVGS, if like you have forgotten your password and you've lost that sheet of paper, you can always send an email through here. Obviously, put the email address where I can actually respond to you. Don't put your Blue Ridge one. And this automatically goes to Mr. Caraway and myself. If you have any questions about the program, and for some reason you can't get into your Blue Ridge web account, you can always go here for it. I think that is everything for me. We'll get more in depth once school starts. Do you guys have any questions about Blue Ridge technology? You are welcome to, if you have a smartphone, you're welcome to link your Blue Ridge account to your smartphone. If it helps kind of get your email through there, I'm happy to help you with that if you have trouble doing it. But like I said, please contact me early and often with any questions about the technology. Especially when you get into your projects, you are going to want to ask me questions. So don't be scared. All right, Caraway.
Something that does go up a lot of times, we will email you guys with information about different courses that are, you know, like new opportunities. A lot of times, particularly at the end of the year, if we get word on summer opportunities, because sometimes we can support things like there's a archaeology program over at James Madison or over at Madison monthly here that we have or that we have students that are participating in. Stuff like that, we'll send that out. And every once in a while I get from somebody, well, I didn't know that was going on, and we can see all the email traffic. And I looked and realized that while they got the email, they never opened it. Please open the emails from your teachers, Ms. Alton, from myself, Mr. Reynolds, anybody that's coming from Blue Ridge. Definitely want to open those emails because there may be some pretty critical information for something you need to do. So that's just a little bit of a commercial on that. So last thing we're going to do, and then we are going to stand up and take a break. We're not going to spend all day talking at you. This is just a little bit of information. The rest of the day we're actually going to be moving around quite a bit. But I did want to have Mr. Hutchison and Ms. Johnson talk to you a little bit about what you're getting into as far as the world history course. So just here we go. You guys may have met. How many of you guys have already, just out of curiosity, have already accessed the summer work? It's quite a few of you through the online link. Well, obviously you've got a paper copy in your folder. You have that already, and so I'll let you know over to you guys.
Who's excited for school to start? Yeah, love it. Hey, if you have already looked at the summer work, that's great. If you have not, you have a paper copy in your folder. So go ahead and open your folder real quick. It should be behind the information page they showed you earlier. It has directions. It has questions and some things to read. Yes. You didn't get the summer work? Do we have an extra copy? It is all online. If you don't know how to get there, it's at the Governor School website. There are clear instructions, so we're not going to go through them all, but everything in there is due the first day of school. When do you think you should start looking at doing that work? Today? Okay. Next week? Raise your hand for the night before. Okay. No one raised your hand. I have a feeling some of you or your friends have done or would have in the past. One of the opportunities we're going to give you in the government school is to learn to manage your time well. Some of the work you're going to have will not be easy for you. That doesn't mean it's just going to be a ton of work. It's going to be something you've never done before, or it will actually make you think, and you need to spend time considering applying and analyzing. And if you wait till the last minute, you may not be able to do your best work. Or if you have a question and you ask us, it might be too late. So one of the things we really want you to do is get in the habit of figuring out what you need to do ahead of time and starting it early. Which includes this. And then if you have a question, you can email myself or Ms. Johnson or whoever your other teacher is, and we'll get back to you in plenty of time because it is due the very first day. And walking in the first day of school and saying, I didn't know or I didn't understand, puts you behind.
All right. So with this reading that you're going to do before school starts, maybe starting in this next week, hopefully, if you haven't started yet. And then also the reading that we do during the year. There are other works that we're going to read outside of your textbook. With all of this reading, I just would encourage you all, manage your time wisely, start early. A lot of governor school, these 4 years that you're going to spend in governor school is an exercise in being organized and managing your time. So you'll get good at that by the end of 9th grade if you aren't good at that yet. But every time you sit down to read, whether it's from your textbook or from these outside sources that we have the opportunity to read through governor school, I just would encourage you to allow yourself a little extra time and allow yourself to put a little more effort into it so that you can become engaged in what you're reading. So it's really easy to fall into the pattern of, as you get into 9th grade, you get going and you're busy and you're feeling overwhelmed with all these things that you have going on, your extracurriculars, your semester-long project with governor school, your other classes, your friends, all of those things. It becomes very tempting for us to just want to check the box. I'm supposed to read these pages, okay, read them for 10 minutes, cross it off the list, I'm done. Avoid being a box checker and allow yourself to go a little bit more deeply. Think about the source, the author, what is the source of what you're reading? Allow yourself to question a little bit. Okay, we talked about this in class, and now this source is telling me this. How do these two come together? So the more you can give yourself a chance to ask questions silently to yourself, be an active reader. I know you've heard about reading actively for all your years in school. Be an active reader. Even when you're reading something that's online and you don't have a paper that you can highlight, you can still write down some questions in the margin or just sort of pause, take a moment, ask a question in your mind, and try to make some connections. So the more you can allow yourself to engage in what you're reading, the easier all of this is going to be. It is going to be challenging, but everybody involved in governor school, all of your teachers, all of the governor school administrators want you to succeed. So Mr. Carraway said, we're here to support you. We all want you to do well. So please know that we're here as a support system for you. You just got to be willing to take on the challenge and do the work.
Two quick things about their readings. One of them is called How to Think Like a Historian or Thinking Like a Historian. And then Guns, Roses, and Steel might be different than anything you've ever read from history class before. Because it's not just a short explanation of what happened and expect you to remember a famous person or a famous date, etc. They're really trying to get into kind of a social science. So why did things happen? What might have caused them? What was the impact of that? What can we learn about that? And even maybe what can we apply to the world we live in today? And so that might be a little different, and that might be hard, and that's okay. And a lot of the stuff we're talking about, whether it's reading something that asks you more than what happened or managing your time, might be really hard for you, and part of our job is to help you grow. So don't come the first day and say, I'm terrible at managing my time, that's just the way I'm always going to be. Or, I can't read this college level book, that's the way it's always going to be. Our job is to help you grow. And if you partner with us, you'll see amazing growth in your 4 years and kind of set you up for your future. So we're really excited. We hope you're excited. I know it's the middle of summer. You're not quite ready to think about school yet, and that's okay. But get an early start on this, and the first day we'll jump right in.
Thanks, Andy. A couple of things that Dr. Senator Johnson said really are really pretty critical. One is that you look at research on how people learn. People who do a little bit every day tend to do much better than people who like to wait till the last minute and try and cram all that knowledge in their head the last second. So one of the things about managing your time would be doing that. You know, when you've got readings like this, you know, try and, you know, okay, I'm going to read 40 pages in one night. You won't remember that. You do a little bit every day, helps you, you know, and then 15 minutes a day, even if you have a long-term reading project or something. It's a great way to do it. The other thing that Ms. Johnson was talking about, interacting with that. By interacting, if you're taking notes, or even better, when you're reading something, think, like, what kind of question is my teacher going to ask me on the test? And write that question down. By the end of the time when you finish this, you'll have your own study guide for it. And by thinking about it in that way, what's important, what's critical about this information? What are they going to ask me? How are they going to ask that? That gives you a lot of interaction with that material and helps you remember a lot more. So that's kind of a little bit of information about what we do and how we do it as far as overall project. You'll learn it more by being in the project, by being in the program and doing these things, these projects, and classwork and things like that than you will here today. But what we want to get into today is a little bit more about how we do things. We talked a lot about like the collaboration aspect, and the collaboration is a huge piece of this. We are a community of learners, so we're going to kind of work from that standpoint. We're going to do a little bit more. I should have mentioned this earlier. If anybody needs to at any point, like use the restrooms or whatever, you're out those doors and then down the hall, just down to the left. You can go ahead at any point. You don't have to ask, you know, anything like that. We're here today. You guys are mature students, so you know, at any point you feel the need to set up and do that. But we're going to start moving around. We're going to start getting into, as I said, some of the stuff that we do in terms of collaboration. So the first piece of this is you're going to be working out the groups today, and these are very, very randomly assigned groups. You will notice on the back of your packet there is a number from 1 to 10. Okay, and I'm going to tell you what time that's going to go. If you don't have a number, come up and check in with me at the front. Hang on just 1 second, guys. So we're going to start moving around. Take your stuff with you. Please do not, you guys, please do not lose these packages today, because if you do, so we don't want to have to drive them to your house today. So I'm going to tell you where your various groups are going to go. You may notice that we have this chair